everybody, and we are back with What's Your Love Story. So, we're going to get it started today. My first guest is
Aliyah.
This is my beautiful niece, Aliyah. She is here from the big old state of Georgia. So good to have you here.
Woo, woo, woo. Thank you.
I appreciate you coming on, helping me out with my baby.
No problem at all.
All right, so I already told you her name is Aliyah, my beautiful niece. So I want you to give an introduction of yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to get started.
Well, my name is Aliyah. I'm 24 years old. I'll be 25 in November. I live in Peachtree Corners, Georgia, and I used to live here for like years. And I decided to spread my wings. So this is me. This is me at 24.
Come on.
And I'm back here visiting family. We're having a good time.
All right, visiting family. Mm-hmm. It's good to see you.
Well, thank you.
Per usual.
Thank you.
Glad you're here. So this is how we're going to do. All right? I just asked some questions. It's just dialogue. We used to do that all the time. So we know how to dialogue.
I think it's a little different because
you are older
nervous,
now.
So I'm gonna try to keep it comfortable.
No, the one person I'm not worried about when it comes to dialogue, it is you.
Okay, well, let's get it.
I think what makes it nervous is that we have a camera in front of us.
Exactly. That's what it is.
We just what we do. I ask questions. We just keep it going.
Okay.
And we dialogue. We have a good time. It's nothing deep. It's nothing anything like that. However, I will go where you go though. Oh. So if you go deep, I can go deep with you.
Okay, but if I get scared, can we retract?
Of course we can.
All right,
let's do it. It's already on camera though, but this is how it is. So let's get started. Okay. You are in a relationship.
I am.
How long?
We've been together for going on 2 years in July.
2 years? Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How's it been?
I mean, if we're gonna be honest,
come on, that's what this is.
It was great in the beginning, of course, that little honeymoon phase. Of course. But I think now we're going through the whole living together and figuring out what it's like to live with each other. Okay. So it is getting a little bit harder, but I think I'm also getting to the point where I'm figuring out, is this, something that I want to go through with the same person, or do I want to find somebody else, start all over? And I think, everybody's got issues, so you got to figure out whose issues you can deal with.
Okay, so you live together now.
Yeah.
So it might be a little hard to say you want to do it with somebody else.
Absolutely. But, I mean, with that being said, we may live together, but the only commitment is really, other than each other, is the lease. Okay. And the lease is up in 12 months. So decisions are to be made. Not saying, that's on the table.
No,
but,
I get it. I get it.
I'm still young. We're still single, technically, until we're married. So
come on.
That's just how I feel about it.
That was one of my questions, actually, because I was going to ask, even though you may be in a relationship, are you considered single until you're married?
I mean,
and so your answer was basically.
I think so. I mean, I'm not saying that
No, come on.
I'm not saying, while I'm in a relationship, I'm actively seeking anybody.
No. That's not what I'm saying.
I am saying, I'm not going to go ahead and put all of my eggs in one basket.
Come on, eggs.
Knowing, there's no definite future.
Yeah.
You can always run into somebody who's willing to try, but if they're making the effort and they're, they're changing for you, you stick by them. That's how I feel about it.
I mean, I don't know what to say right now because I think I was thrown a little bit.
But why?
No, well, first of all, before on air, you told me that, y'all were living together, and I didn't know that. I knew you had your own spot.
Right.
I just didn't know it was with him, okay? So that threw me for a loop because then I'm like, okay, are my questions going to be the same questions? But
I hope so.
We're good, though. We're good. But I think, and then you threw me with one of my questions because I was kind of leery about asking about if you're single, if you're still considered single. Sorry, if you're... Lord Jesus, what was my question about the? Are you still considered single?
Right.
While you're in a relationship, like until you're married.
Right.
Sorry. That's a blooper. You asked for a blooper.
Hey.
Okay, so so I think that kind of threw me because I was leery about asking that.
Yeah.
Because some people are like, what?
I mean, I'm gonna tell the truth.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
That's what this is all about. So, how did y'all meet? So let's go back to the beginning.
Okay, so. While we were on the way over here, I knew that question was going to come up. So I was thinking, I might tell him myself, but at the time that we met, I can't exactly remember.
Okay.
I was talking to a couple of people at the time. I was playing the
field.
You
were auditioning.
You know what I'm saying? I was playing the field, seeing
like
who
you
was
said,
make
you're still young. Come on, cut.
So I either met him at my job. I wasn't supposed to. I ended up giving him my number, and then after he got done treating, we linked up.
Okay.
Or I met him at the mall at the food court. Either way, I can't remember. But we ended up literally he invited me over to his house.
Okay.
We sat there in his car, and we had a very long conversation.
That's always good.
A good 5-hour conversation, just talking. That's it. Didn't try to make a move on me, but it was really genuine.
Yeah.
And the reason why I knew we were going to be an item was because when I left, I know it's kind of corny, but when I left, I walked away, and I usually don't look back. I'm that girl.
Come on.
But I looked back, and I caught him looking back at the same time.
He was looking at it.
You know what I'm saying?
He was looking at it.
It really didn't take much. We pretty much clicked right off the bat.
Right. Okay.
So I'm pretty sure I met him at my job, but I think we ended up
this
texting.
Is hilarious. Because the explanation.
I hope he doesn't see
one
this.
End of the spectrum. At your job, maybe. At the mall, maybe.
It was a couple of guys in the mix at the time. He was one of them. I'm just gonna be real.
How did he make the cut though?
Okay, so I will say he was probably the first one that got really serious.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't even me. I kind of played it like I wasn't seeing anybody else, but if you're doing your own thing, I'm also gonna do my own thing.
Right.
So he kind of made like side jokes like, oh, you better not be talking to anybody else, or, let everybody know that me and you are a thing. And so I never did it until I knew officially that he was doing it on his end.
Oh, okay.
And so when I saw that he was applying that pressure, that's when I decided to cut everybody else off, and we became something.
So you wanted to, you cut everything off with other people, but did you want to cut everything off with other people? Did you want to be with him?
Okay. I think the type of person that I am, I love love, and I cannot help it. So I always want to be in love, and he was giving me signs that, I don't know, like not that he was in love right then and there, that he was,
but he wanted to be in love as well.
Exactly. Okay. And then he also told me, like, at the time that we met, it was around the time that he was giving up on love. So it kind of, I don't know, the way it happened, it was almost like perfect timing.
Yeah. So you walked into his life at the time that he was about to give up.
Exactly. Like, I kid you not, he had just got a tattoo right behind his ear of a broken heart. I told him he has to get it covered up.
Well, come on.
You know,
your heart's not broken anymore.
It's not. It better not be.
It better not
That's how I feel about it.
Okay, so how fast did the relationship go, like, as far as, like, falling in love and all that stuff? Like,
I will say...
Who said it first?
Okay, so I think I slipped up and said it first.
Slipped up?
Yes, only because it's weird to say, but he reminds me of my dad so much. And I think that is what attracts me to him, because he's so goofy, a lot of his mannerisms. Like, it's just so weird.
Ladies and gentlemen, her dad is my super producer, by the way.
Yeah. Talking to him sometimes, like, it kind of feels comfortable, like talking to my dad. So
it's easy. It just rolled off the tongue. Then it's like
getting off of the phone, and I'd be like, okay, well, love you, bye. And then he caught me saying it. He was like, well, I mean, it's too late. You already said it. You might as finish it. So I finished it, and I'm like, okay, well, I've been wanting to say it for a minute, but I think I was just scared or apprehensive because I wasn't sure if he was ready for that.
Right.
Even though I knew it was there.
Yeah.
I think he was just scared because he wasn't sure that I was sure.
Right.
And vice versa.
So then you said it then.
And he ended up saying it back.
Okay.
I didn't.
How far into the relationship were you?
Now, that part I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't think it took very long, though.
Okay.
Like I said, we were both pretty apprehensive because back to your question from before, it's not that I wanted to cut everybody out, but like I said, I love, so it was kind of hard for me not to love him.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Okay. So I'd like to ask everybody this question. Did your parents' relationship, like, quite naturally, I know your parents, so did their relationship or marriage have a make you feel any way about marriage? Like, did it hinder your views on marriage and relationship, whether good or bad?
Oh, yeah. In both ways, honestly. Because like, my parents, they got married young, and they ended up getting a divorce, and it wasn't the best divorce. So I feel like with them always, well, not necessarily them specifically, but my granddad on my mom's side, always saying, don't get married young, don't have kids, and can I say the S word?
Yeah.
Okay. He would always
I told
say,
you I go where you go.
Okay. So. He would always say, if you have sex, then you'll end up pregnant. So I was scared of all of that stuff. I was scared of getting married because he wouldn't necessarily say like, oh, you're gonna get a divorce or it's not gonna work out, but he pretty much said, just don't get married young or you'll pretty much end up in a situation like your mom and your dad.
Okay.
And I've seen the situation between my mom and my dad.
Yeah.
And they're cool now. Everything's good now. Yeah. But prior to that, it was real nasty. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say on my dad's part because he tried to hide a lot of that from it. But I think a lot of my mom's hurt came out during that time. And to say the least, I didn't want to turn into that by jumping into something that I wasn't sure of.
Got you. Okay, so then how did that affect you? Their divorce, and I mean, I know you were young, you were very young, but how did it, like, as far as your views on your, let's just say your relationship now, did their relationship hinder any of that? You wanting to move forward? I've
just always felt like I didn't want to get married young.
Okay.
So like, to give an example, I was presented the opportunity to go ahead and get married straight out of high school, but I was scared, like really scared just because of what I saw. Yeah. And I felt like with marriage came children, just the way it happens. I was just scared of all that. I wouldn't necessarily say like I would never get married, but I think it like attached a scared stigma to it.
Okay.
So I think I'll always be scared to make that official commitment, if that makes sense.
So then what would it take if, Lord, please tell me that baby's name again. Your boyfriend. Christopher. And I should remember that, right?
Chris.
Sorry. So what would Chris have to do to bring that wall down? Hope you're listening, Chris.
I don't really know.
Okay.
To be honest,
so
I think that would necessarily be a me thing.
Okay. So you haven't thought about marriage because you're so scared of the commitment part of it, or what? Because you're already kind of committed right now, but.
So I guess you're right.
Technically, it's not marriage.
I think I'm scared of what could possibly become the outcome.
Okay. Because see, my favorite thing is you never get married thinking that you're going to get divorced.
Right.
Unfortunately, that's your thought.
Right.
That's your thought right now. So that's the unfortunate part.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why I asked the question, like, what would he have to do? But you're saying it's not him that would have to do anything. It would have to be you. So if he got on one knee right now and said, "Will you marry me?" your answer would be straight up no.
Well, of course, for other reasons too. But yeah, the answer would definitely be no. It would definitely be no. No, not right now.
No. Okay.
I mean, not only for me, but how do you know that I'm the only person you want to be with for the rest of your life?
Right.
Like, that's just how I feel about it.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, and see, for myself, if you don't mind me jumping in.
Come on.
So I'm at a point now where I am fine with being single. I don't have to be in a relationship. And I'm like you, I love love, right? Always wanted to be married, have kids and, just have that married life. And now I'm like, I'm good. I'm okay.
Are you?
I really am.
That is what's up, Auntie Phaedra.
I'm so serious. Like, I am in a space where I'm like, you know what? If it happens, it happens. But if it doesn't, I can talk to whoever I want. I can do whatever I want. I have no obligations to anyone except for who? Brian.
That's right. There you go.
He's the only one I have to make sure is good.
And he's growing up.
He's growing up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of, it's shocking because even when I told Grandma, like, she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I don't have to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
It's good. Now, don't get me wrong now. It feels good, when someone likes you or someone wants to be with you and they want to make you theirs, so to speak.
Right.
But I'm in a spot now where I'm like, I don't have to be nobody's. I can be just mine.
I wish I could just be there all the time. Every time, I'm single and I'm feeling like I need that, I wish I could be there.
So why do you think that? Why do you think that you have to be? Is it because I know a lot of it has, for me, I'll talk about myself. I think I felt that way because Granddad, he wasn't a hugger. He wasn't one that said, I love you. He didn't do any of those things. However, he showed you he loved you in other ways, because y'all would come home from school every day and have chicken. Biscuits, something was always there for y'all.
He'd be upstairs, but we knew he loved us.
But you knew it. You didn't hear it necessarily, but you knew it. And so I think for myself, I was longing for that. I was longing for him to tell me he loved me through guys. Now, it didn't necessarily mean I went crazy and had sex and did all of that. It didn't mean that. But I think I was longing to hear a man tell me that. So my question to you, because you were saying that you wish when you were single you can be in where I am now. Why do you feel like you couldn't be?
Honestly, I could not answer that question. Because
I know your dad is the complete opposite. So he loves you, says I love you, he hugs you, every time you get off the phone. I know that for myself. So I know that wouldn't be the reason. But it could be. I don't know. Maybe he does it too much.
No, my dad, he's great. He's wonderful. I really don't know, because the only question that comes to mind whenever I do end up in a breakup is usually am I that bad of a person, or, why am I not good enough? Those are usually the main questions that come to my head. So,
yeah. So with that being said, is the other person the one that breaks up, or is it you?
So, for the past couple of ones, before I met the one I'm with now, it was usually me.
Okay.
But it's always something that happens that is usually bad, except for the one prior to him. It's usually something bad that,
brings that.
It's kind of like I give you chance after chance after chance, and it's almost like I give you the opportunity to break my heart over and over and over again until I've had enough to where I completely hate you and I can't even deal with you anymore. So
yeah, my past marriage was like that. Like I gave you chance after chance after chance.
Right.
So much so, and this is the honest to goodness truth, where the Lord had to have him walk away from me because I wouldn't leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I knew better, but I felt as though I couldn't do any better.
Right.
Shoot, at the time, I'm like, late 40s. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking, okay, well, I can't do any better, so I'm just gonna stay in it. You know what I mean? So finally, it was like, okay, he was like, I want to be separated. It broke my heart.
Right.
But nevertheless, he made him walk away from me because he was like, I've given you plenty of opportunities to walk away, and you have not. So,
quick question though, how long did it take you to come to that realization though?
That I needed
that he needed to be the one to walk away.
Well, that didn't come till after.
Right. Okay.
So after the separation. But I tell you what, we're gonna continue this after we have this little break.
Okay.
So you guys, y'all come back. We're gonna come back for part 2. All right. Closing the book on this one.